Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 19 of Follow a Sketch February. You can find all of these sketches on Scrapping Reflections Facebook page. You can also follow the videos every day that are being posted by State Goddess on YouTube, who is the originator of the Follow Sketch February, and she continues through the year with Follow Sketch Friday. So I have been following along this month because I love State Goddess and her process videos, and the way she creates is fantastic. And I also have really enjoyed sketches from a lot of different places. And so following along with this has been a lot of fun. So today's sketch is actually a card. I cannot tell what this says. It's www. I think it starts with a C, blogspot.com. That's not going to help you any. If State Goddess knows, she will post it in her description on her YouTube channel. So it is a card, which I will be turning into a 12 by 12 layout. And it's just got some layers, and it has one picture or space in the middle. I have decided that I am going to use 4 pictures and cut them down to 3 by 3 and make them in a 6 by 6 square. So that is my plan. Hopefully that will be how it turns out, but who knows? Other than that, I really do want to kind of keep with the concept of a shorter side and a shorter top. So we'll see how that ends up because, you know, once I get started, there's no telling. So the paper I decided to use is this one Canoe Two Twilight, and it is Nightshade and Field Notes is the name of the papers. And I love that it has this big floral on it because the pictures that I'm going to use have a little bit of floral. I figured I could use the front of that floral and the graph on the back. And then on the back of this cut apart is this leafy, viney bit that I think will look really good as well. So I feel like those are the 4 bits that I'm going to use to make those 4 sections on the layout. So I decide I'm going to use this white solid cardstock as my base since there's so much black in this paper. And then I have these 4 pictures of my cousin, and 2 of them have my uncle in it from my wedding where they were being really goofy. And I'm going to cut those down to just under 3 by 3. Not even 2 3/4. It's a little bit more than that. And so that way I can put them on. My original plan was like a 6 by 6 square, but I end up making it a little wider than that, well, bigger, a little bigger than that. So I have my pictures set up, and then I have this little strip of purple paper that I put through my embosser, my Big Shot, and was trying out some embossing folders, and purple was one of the colors in my wedding, so I thought it would be a good idea to bring that in, even though it's not in the pictures and you can't see purple in the florals. And then I have this wood veneer that I had in a project pocket card. It was in a kit. And then I have these florals that I was thinking I would use, and that little arrow stencil that I have, but I do not use either of those. Spoiler alert, the pinks in there do not go, and so I do not end up using those stickopotamus. And I forgot that I wasn't thinking about the fact that I was using all this pattern paper, and I did not want the arrows. But these Jollee's florals that I have will definitely get pulled out, and they will definitely get used on the layout. I have just different kinds, different colors, and so I have those. So then the next thing is to get started. So let's see how it goes. And so I get started by trimming my pictures first, and I want them, like I said, to be just under 3 by 3. And I try to even them out. One of them is a little off, but not by that much, and it's not very noticeable. So, well, to me it might be noticeable because now that it's been pointed out, like now that I see it, it's a little hard to miss. So I get my paper out and I debate on this for a minute because, you know, once it's cut, it's cut. And I want to make the one side wider, like in this sketch. So I started at about 7.5 inches. I was going to do 9, and then I changed my mind and went back and forth. And the top is just under 4 inches. So the top two pieces are just shy of 4 inches and vary in their width. And then the bottom is right around, I think they're 9 inches or 8.5 inches tall. So the point for me was that the bottom two pieces were the same height and the top two were the same height. And in the sketch, I think that it looks more like the two pieces on the right are the same width and the two pieces on the left are the same width. I changed that up a little bit. My original plan is to follow that idea. However, when I have that laying there like that, I don't like how the two floral pieces are right next to each other. And I debate moving them around, and I try and turn things back and forth, and then I realize that I definitely want that floral, the pink floral on the top, to be catty corner to the big piece on the bottom, just like this. And I really like this idea. Even though it's not like this sketch, it is what I felt was better. I could have flipped them and had a small floral in the top left corner and the bigger plaid, but I really, really love the way that this pattern lines this way and how much of a contrast that black with the floral and that pink color with the floral. So I need to find something to map my pictures on. So I pull out pink first because that's the color in the Gerber daisies. But every color I pull out is either exactly the same or it just does not work. So like I said, purple was the main color in my wedding. And so I pulled out some purple shades to see what I felt was going to work better. And in the big piece of gray, well, in both pieces really with the floral, there's like a gray. And so I thought that this lighter shade of purple would work well because it kind of goes with that gray in the floral, like in the leafy bits. And so I go with the lighter, see, I'm really bad with knowing like the names of these colors. So it's not lavender, but it's similar. And then I pick that dark purple to go with the bit that I'm going to use with my title in a little while. So I decide that I am going to ink the sides, distressing the sides of my paper, because the white flower is going to disappear into that white background. So I just ink up my dauber, and this is a Time Holtz Distress ink in Dusty Concord, and it's brand new. I just got it today. So I ink up the whole thing, even though the top and the left are dark and you really aren't going to see them. There are little bits of that gray leaf that you can see it in, so I just went ahead and inked the whole thing. And I cut out a lot of this because you don't need to see it all, but I did ink all 4 pieces 100% all the way around. And I wanted some of it to come over. When I just want the side of the paper to have that color, I will take the ink pad and just go around what I'm trying to ink up. If I want it to come onto the top of the paper some and have that darker, lighter shading, then I will use one of the daubers. So it just depends on what I'm looking for. So I'm now going to get my pictures lined up, and I want them to be reasonably the same. I am terrible at this, but I am going to, I did a pretty good job. I'm pretty proud of myself. So I get the top two on there, and then I turn it and get the next ones on. And I really, really love this layout. It's reasonably simplistic. It's not over embellished, but I absolutely love this. That paper is fantastic. And of course, it's the only two pieces of that I have in my entire stash. So no more One Canoe Two, except for I have a few of the cut-aparts left and some of that viney paper. And I can find a way to use that, no problem. So I actually use a ruler. Guys, put this on your calendar. I actually use 2 rulers, for that matter, to get this lined up and even. I can't even believe it, because even though I have a mat behind me, I still never use a ruler, and I rarely think to look at the daggone mat behind my layout. I lost my marbles. It's just, I wing it. That's just the way I roll, you all. So I actually pull out my ruler and make sure that it is pretty much in the center and even and flat on the top. And then I pull out this embossed, I got this embossing folder off of Amazon. It's just a little 6-inch long one. And I put it through, and it's got little hearts and some pretty little just viney bits. It almost looks like a trellis, and it has little hearts at the bottom. It's very pretty, and I literally was just testing it out, the little pad thing, and I love it, and it's perfect for this lamp. So I get that on there, and I am going to start with the embellishing. And so I have these little leafy bits and things from they're Jollee's. I almost said Joann's. And so I lay some of those down, one big one, and then 2 smaller ones on either side. And after I get those down, I'm going to add little flowers on there. And I didn't want to do too much, but I wanted to put something there in the middle. So the first floral that I'm going to put down is a bigger one, and then I figured I'd do some small ones on the bottom so that flower isn't competing with the big flower over there on the paper, but it is just kind of bringing that white flower over. And so once I get all the greenery down, I'm going to put little Nouveau Deluxe adhesive down on all 5 of the little tops of the stems. And then I start with the big white one and then put down a purple one, which is almost the exact color of the papers that I'm using. It's a light purple with a dark purple center. And then I use these silver ones because that white flower has a silver center. So I thought I'd go ahead and embrace the silver. So I use 2 little silver flowers and then those 2 purple. And then I let those get nice and congealed down. I love the Nouveau Deluxe. I have been using Tombow glue and a zig pen. And I like the zig pen for skinny paper. But anything that is, especially like these wood grains and the things like that, I definitely love to use the Nouveau. So I put a big stem up at the top. Actually, it's a small one. And add another one and put it down a little further under the picture. And add a little silver flower and one of the purple flowers up at the top. So I'm bringing the floral up to that plaid pattern. And bringing that silver up there as well, and a little bit of the purple. And I am loving it. So I get those down. And then I'm going to put away all my extra little flowers. And I don't put them back in their little packaging. I just put them in my little photo box that I'm going to start storing my stuff in. So the next thing is I want to use this Remember wood veneer, and I want it to be colored. I don't want the wood color necessarily. So first I pulled out my persimmon, Bright Persimmon, which is a distress ink, and that is way too orange. And then I tried a light pink and then the dark pink, and that seemed to work well. I don't care necessarily if they match. I just wanted it to have a little bit of a oomph. I love the way it turned out. And a little of the wood grain shows through, and I'm okay with that. So here's my Nouveau Deluxe again. And I glue that up and then lay it down as centered as I can without measuring once again. And I just put a little pressure on that. And at this point I feel like I'm done, but then I start to take the pictures and do the up close and think, oh, I need some stickles. So I put 3 little clusters of stickles around in the silver. And that, my friends, is it. I will probably not put a date on here because it's my wedding. I might not write anything on here, but because I just love this layout and it looks good and I didn't want to take away from any of it. So here is the sketch, and I'm going to show you some close-ups, and I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope that you all like this layout and the sketch, and I hope you all try it. And have a great night and happy scrapping.